Sorry for the break, there are a couple announcements. I opened the huge red door and quietly tiptoed up the aisle. The chapel walls were glowing with tall blue and red glass windows, and as I walked down the aisle, I imagined the dusty shafts of red air and blue air and purple air filling me up inside. And when I breathed out, the same colors swirled around my head. A choir was practicing in the balcony, and I took my seat and listened. "No, no, no," the conductor shouted. "Tenors, follow the organ. You're flat. Now again." The organ started up so loudly I could feel it buzzing in my feet. The tenors sang. The conductor pointed to another group of singers, and they came in. "Stop," he shouted. "You're late, altos. Come in crisply after the first measure. Now again." The organ started. The tenors began. The altos came in at their correct beat. Then a third group, which sang even higher, joined in. "Stop," shouted the conductor. "Sopranos, take those gumballs out of your mouth. Enunciate." Again. They started up, but soon the conductor lowered his arms. "Stop. Basses, you've got to hold the bottom. Don't let the tenors pull you up into their octave." Again. The conductor continued to start and stop the singers, and it made me nervous, and I began to get a funny idea running through me. I wanted to play my trumpet. I reached down into my backpack and slowly pulled it out and set it on my lap. I looked at it. I touched it. I licked my lips. I listened to the choir, which was smooth and creamy as yellow icing on a cake. I was aching to stand up and blow the opening notes to a song called "A Taste of Honey." Finally, the conductor started them from the beginning. It was amazing to hear them sing one perfect wave of notes on top of one another. The more perfectly they sang, the more I wanted to join in. I felt as if I were being tickled all over, but wasn't allowed to laugh. All I wanted to do was hold the trumpet to my lips and wail. Suddenly, the choir stopped. The conductor lowered his arms. "Perfect," he said. "You should be proud of yourselves. Not a note out of place." And the look on everyone's face was beautiful. They were filled with their own perfection. I was so excited I just wanted to go somewhere and practice my trumpet. I wanted to be as perfect as they were and not have a note out of place. I went outside and began to spin around, and when I stopped, I was facing a tall building. It looked like the bell tower part of an old cathedral. I ran over, and it was full of people reading books. I knew I couldn't cut loose there, so I took the elevator up to the top, and when I got out, I snooped down the hall and found a small balcony. So I went out on it and looked across the city and saw all the places I had been walking. The whole day I'd been playing a big Pittsburgh board game called "Are You Normal, Joey? Or Are You Wired?" I was just about to declare myself the winner when I realized there was one more place I hadn't pointed my finger at. At me. It was me. The real test was inside me. I leaned back against the balcony wall, closed my eyes, and turned my head upside down. I took a deep breath, and when I opened my eyes, the whole city had flipped over and reminded me that so far nothing on my trip had turned out as I had expected. I had thought Dad would tell me all about his past, but he didn't want to talk about it, so I was wrong about that. I had thought there was going to be some chance of Mom and Dad getting back together, but Mom really didn't want to. Dad had a new girlfriend, so I was wrong about that. I had thought Grandma would be creepy, but she was only old, sad, and sick now, so I was wrong about that too. And now I wasn't even wearing a patch, which was the scariest thing of all. But all day long, I wasn't goofing up. I was totally in control of every second, every thought, every action, every word. As Dad would say, today I was on top of my game. I just smiled to myself, and I thought all my troubles had just vanished. This is what it's like to be normal, I guessed. You don't have problems. Only messed up people have problems, and since I wasn't messed up anymore, I was as free as a bird. I could just leap off the balcony, spread my arms, and soar through the chicken little sky, which was not falling at all. I'm normal. I am really normal. Joey Pigza is normal. I could stop thinking that bad things were always coming my way. I switched on my Herb Alpert tape. I slipped my speaker into my ears and pulled my trumpet out of my backpack. I stood up and started to play as loud as I could. I kept playing until I looked at my watch and saw it was time to meet Dad. So I put my trumpet away and I got going. I had a huge smile on my face all the way down the elevator and across the street and all the way up the steps to the War Memorial Building where Dad worked. Just when I reached the top, Dad stepped right out the door. Hey, buddy, how was your big day? He yelled out. It was perfect, I shouted. Awesome. The best day I ever had. I felt like the most normal kid in the world now. The most normal kid in the world. Now I just want more and more of these days. A year of them. A lifetime of them. Sure. See, he said, I told you that patch was bogus. Yeah, Dad, you were right. You made me better. He got tears in his eyes and had to wipe them away with his long fingers. That's the greatest thing anyone has ever said to me, he said. Give me 5. I held out my hand and grinned. Wait, no way. I'm not falling for that again. I won't pull my hand back, I promise. He tried to get the jump on me and took a big, quick swing, but I still pulled my hand away in time, and he lurched forward all over again. You promised, he said. I turned and jumped down the steps 2 at a time, and I laughed bent over until I thought I was going to cry, too. When I looked up, he was still standing at the top. I'll get you back, he said in a voice that I wasn't sure was joking or serious. Either way, it made me feel nervous all over, which kind of put a tiny dent into my perfect